Hey, planty people, it's your boy Jordan, and you guys are tuning back into Kentucky Plant Daddy. I appreciate you guys being here. Today's video is going to be a repot with me while I discuss the plants that I killed in 2023. Basically, I looked through my Instagram and I looked through pictures in my phone. It might not be like a comprehensive list, but I tried to identify all the plants that I had this year and then the ones that I know that I killed. Of course, accidentally. So the point of doing this video is just to encourage everybody to, try their best in this hobby, but to also realize that although, you might be learning and growing, there's still going to be some setbacks, and we're going to be able to still enjoy this hobby even though everything doesn't go our way. So if you guys think that's something that you want to watch, stay tuned. The plant that we are going to be potting up is all of my Hoya polynera cuttings. So I've cut this plant from a single leaf cutting, and it's grown and grown and grown. So now I have about 8 cuttings plus the original cutting that I'm going to pot up into this Amazon self-watering pot. So I want to have it in a hanging basket. I want it to get real lush and full, and that is the goal with this plant. So you guys stay tuned if you want to see which plants I killed this year. Okay guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is try to angle this down to where the lights aren't blaring. And then, yeah, you can see my table good. Sorry if that chain keeps like being super loud, but so I've got some washed leca here, and then my lechuzapon is down on the ground. So I'm going to do like a leca layer first, and then keep my cuttings secured with the pon. I have this batch of cuttings, and then I have these 3 cuttings. And then I have this like original, I think the original leaf was this one. She's looking a little rough. And then I cut her down to nothing again, and she still was like, nah, I gotta grow. So we're gonna pot all those up into this container. Now the first plant I killed, or not that I killed, like I didn't do this in chronological order, just the first one we're gonna discuss is the Monstera Peru, and this was on one of my favorites videos this year, and so I love the plant, but it got thrips. So once it got thrips, it did not fare very well. I cut it up. I threw away all of the leaves that were not salvageable, and I propped the leaves that I felt like were salvageable. They're still over there in moss right now, so I'm hoping that even though it's dead, that she'll have her come back. Hopefully, that's my goal for 2024. And I just don't know if I'm going to love it as much. I hope that I do, because I really, really enjoyed this plant. I like the texture of the leaves, but I was just kind of like, I had several plants this year that got thrips, so it was like annoying, but she was like probably my 5th plant or something like that got them, maybe my 4th plant. And it's also one of the plants that like the thrips did the most damage to. Like it was not savable like my Tycon was, but yeah, so she's over there. She's in a container with moss. Hopefully she's rooting. I've not even checked on her since it happened. And that's the story with the Tycon. Or not the Tycon, the Monstera Peru, sorry. My Tycon also had thrips. That's why I keep getting that confused. The second plant that we're going to talk about is my Dieffenbachia Camille. There's a picture here of when it was like beautiful. Now, ultimately, I think I was going to rehome this plant anyways because it was like one of the earlier plants that I had in my collection, and I found out that it was like pretty poisonous or venomous or however you want to say it, but like if your cats chewed on it or something, like it could like close their airways up, which like my cats are known to be nibblers, to be honest. And so usually nothing happens, but I just didn't want to risk it. But I didn't like go kill my plant, right? I'm not a murderer. The plant just wasn't looking good, so I cut it up, and just a portion of it didn't make it. The rest rooted out, and I took it to a plant swap and gifted like what survived away, and I made sure that person knew that it was like a pretty poisonous plant. Just because I didn't want anything to happen to like their cats or dogs or, you know, God forbid, child. But there were portions of that plant that did not do great. And so I put it on this list for plants that, you know, didn't thrive for me this year. Look at the root system. No wonder she's mother, you know, she's giving. So Dieffenbachia Camille, she's gone. She's no longer with us. And the portion of her that did live got regifted to somebody else. So we're going to move on. This one kind of makes me sad, to the Golden Goddess. Here's a picture of her when she looked her best for me. And you guys know I love yellow variegated plants. So she's not variegated, obviously, but she's yellow. Yellow is my favorite color. I'm drawn to yellow plants in general, but she got spider mites, and you know, spider mites are honestly, I don't want to say they're not that bad, because if I get like terrible spider mites, I'll be upset. But out of like all the pests and things, like ultimately spider mites are like not that bad. Like they don't kill your plant so quick as like thrips are like my least favorite probably, because like they just damage your leaves so terribly that like you can't even hide it. And then also like the risk to your plant is just so great. But the spider mites just were not making this plant look bad. Like it was causing the leaves to look wavy and like had a little bit of damage, like the little dots and stuff that they got. So I moved it out of the normal area that I had it in, that I like paid attention to. And so you got to watch out when you do that, because you run the risk of neglecting your plant worse. I find once I moved my plant to quarantine, I forget about it really easily. So I moved her into my cat room, which I just call my cat room because that's where I like put the litter box and stuff. And I have like a cat tree and all that stuff in there for my Lily and Ash. But once I put her in there, I think like besides the spider mites, I just think the neglect got her, to be honest. And she kind of just shriveled up and she was looking real ugly. And I finally went in there and was like, oh, she's done for. Like, there's no point in trying to rehab this. It just wasn't worth my energy, which sounds terrible. I don't want to like sound like I wouldn't take care of my plants, but it was just a neglect thing for me. It's just something I got to. I just wanted to show you guys the roots as all my pollen falls off of them. They look great. I'm just going to plunk them down in here as well. So yeah, that's the Golden Goddess. Honestly, spider mites versus neglect. It's neglect for me, because that's my fault. I will say that the next plant is my Anthurium Dieffenbachia, and I got it as a plantlet, and it like didn't give me right off the bat issues. It gave me like 3 leaves, I think, total maybe. It was just really little, which is fine. I'm just not like an Anthurium like super knowledgeable person. And so I only have 3, the Veitchii, the Pallidiflorum, and a Truncacola. And the Anthurium lost a leaf, moved on, lost another leaf. So now it's down to a single leaf. And it looks like this. I'm going to put a picture of it. So we're just going to call her dead. I think that she's not dead yet, to be honest, but like the foliage is not salvageable. I'm going to pull her out and see if I can take a look at the chunk. I don't know why it's doing this. I don't have a good reason. There's no pests on this plant. She was, given the same life as all my other Anthuriums that are doing well. So, sometimes it just be that way, and you gotta be okay with that. I'm not. I really think I would love this plant if I could get it to do well, but alas, it looks like this. So I guess we can't call it dead yet. I'm not 100% for sure, but she's so ruined that she might as well be dead, which sounds terrible. Now, my Hoya obovata, I've rotted twice, so she's rooted back out, and I'm going to pot her up as well. I think the reason she's rotted twice, one of them was in soil. I put her in pond, and I think I just left her too long. So the next time she rotted in pond, and now her roots look like this again, which she's grew beautifully in pond every time. And I don't think I left her too long in pond. I think she does great in pond, but I think it needs to be like not a no drainage container, especially a small one like this. It needs to be a drainage setup like this one. But yeah, that was the Hoya obovata. I also have a Thamatophyllum. It used to be classified as a philodendron, but this is a picture of it. I don't even know its name. And unfortunately, this is just like another story of neglect. What happened was that I heard that they do good outside, and I've never kept plants outside, and I honestly just don't like the idea of it. Not that I like the idea of it. It's just I don't have that doesn't go well for me. I neglect my plants outside. They get pests way easier. So I'm like, you know what? I don't know that I'm going to keep a lot of plants outside from now on. It didn't go that well for me. This plant burnt up. Obviously, I did not transition it very well. And then besides the fact of it burning up, it also, I left it out there when it got like a little bit cold, and then so she's like too cold. So it was just like annoying to like keep all that in the back of my mind with like, I know I don't have like the largest collection ever. Like there's tons of people who have like more plants than I do. So like that's not really a good excuse, but it's hard to keep up with all that information in that way. And so it got burnt up, and then it got too cold, and then like by the time I went out there, she's like a stump, and I just like don't have the energy to unstump her. She was beautiful at one point. She was also one of my first plants, and she always done like very well. She was not like a finicky plant at all. So RIP to that Thaumatophyllum that I don't even know like what its actual name is. She was a good plant. And like I said, I don't know about the outside thing. I know like lots of people keep plants outside. I think I just have more learning to do, and like also I was starting a new job, and you know, the list goes on of like all the things that like I should have done better. I feel guilty. But what can you do? The plant is not doing good. Okay, so the next plant, Alocasia poly, and really, I'm like, just what the F? Like, I'm just done with her. I will never have Alocasia poly again. I think she's a life ruiner. I think like, I won't have her again. She died when she was huge. You know what I think I just like dislike her the most? Let me tell you a little story, a little personal story about me. I have a friend, and we lost our way. I like love her. I'll always love her, but we just have some things that we are not going to probably ever reconcile. But it kind of is like, just goes back to like that whole middle school boyfriend crap. Like, I was like, don't think that her person treats her great, yada, yada, yada. And so every time that they're doing okay, I guess, like she is over me, she's over me, like wanting better for herself. And then she like keeps coming back to me to like be my friend, like whenever they have problems. And so I'm not down with that. And that's what the Alocasia poly is giving me, is she'll grow back, and then from her little stump or like whatever, and she'll give me like a single leaf, and it'll be pretty, and I'm like, oh yeah, like we're working on things, like we're figuring it out together. And then she just is a loser ass, and reverts to her old self. And I just can't be bothered with Alocasia poly anymore. I gave her 3 or 4 attempts. I feel like that I'm okay with Alocasia. Like, you guys have seen some of my Alocasia on my channel. Like, I'm not just like, I'm not saying I'm like an Alocasia girly. Like, I'm not like the best, but I know that I can figure it out, right? And Polly just is not giving me the chance. She's not letting me figure her out. I do not understand her. I'm never going to understand her because I'm never going to talk to her again. I'm over Alocasia poly. So did you guys like my personal spill on that too? Like, can you tell my feelings are hurt? So the next plant is a philodendron jungle boogie, and this plant did wonderfully for me. This is much like the golden goddess. She was doing a-okay, and she got thrips, and so I cut her leaves off, and I took her and put her in the bathroom shower, like my guest bathroom shower. And I guess I didn't have guests for a long time because I think I left her in there for like over a month. Just neglected her. I went back in there recently and she was still trying. I cut the rest of her leaves off just because I was like, okay, this ain't gonna work. Like, I've let this go on too long. And now I have her as a stump. She's just chilling with a growth point. I'll take a picture of it and put it right here. I'm going to let her try to come back to life, but I killed her. It was my fault. You guys, like I said, the pest, like, ultimately didn't do her any favors, but, like, guys, come on now. Pests are treatable. And also, like, if there's any people out there who are like, oh, well, like, these people, they talk about pests a lot, like they must get pests a lot, they don't like take care of their plants well. That's not true. I mean, watch any of the YouTuber people who have like fairly big collections, like pests are going to happen. It's just like what is going to happen. Like, don't shame people for pests, but I do prevention with like the mite sachets, preventative mites and ladybugs. And you know, sometimes things just like still happen. These thrips still happened. But I will say, like I said, like this was going to be manageable. I think I was going to lose one leaf and then it would have been fine. But it wasn't fine because I moved her, I neglected her, and that was that. Y'all, this is going to be beautiful once it like grows some. Let me show you. If I can figure out how this is supposed to go. Okay. And like she's just gonna grow long and beautiful and it's gonna look so good. I'm gonna try to, yeah. I love this plant. One of the Hoyas that I wouldn't give up is Polyneura. Okay, and then this is going to round out the video because I'm done with the repot, but also the last plant is coming up that I didn't do the best with. I bought someone's collection. I mean, like, I don't think it's their full collection, but it was like 5 or 6 plants that are kind of hard to get a hold of locally. And it came with a philodendron Gabby, which is, you know, I don't want to say it's like a sought after plant, but like a lot of people wanted it. I never was super interested in her. She was just in this collection that I bought. But then once I got her, I was like, I can give her a shot. But I didn't love a lot of like the cream splash and like Gabby. It all looked like a Rio to me, which is, but my Rio looks great. I mean, so anyway, I got it. It was in soil. It had been outside. I didn't want to bring that soil into my collection potentially. So I chopped her. And I tried to root her in pond. I did this thing where I tried to root a lot of my plants in pond, which I'm not saying doesn't work well, but it didn't work well for her. It does work well for Hoyas. Just putting that out there. But anyhow, she didn't do good. The largest portion of her died. With my attempts of doing that. And so I have a little tiny portion, I'll put a picture here of her, and it's in a prop box, and I just sold that portion on a Facebook post because I'm not interested in her anyway. I mean, she's a beautiful plant. It's just that like she will take forever to be impressive looking. She's just like a little tiny cutting. She grows super slow in my experience. So I killed like 75% of her, and then this is the 25% that I'm just rehoming to someone else because she's just not for me. She's not going to be for me. So that is that. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plants that I killed this year. And then I'll go ahead and shout out my Maranta because it used to look like this and now it looks like this. She's not dead. She's still a plant, but she's had a rough year. So she's not going to like officially make the list. And yeah, that is it for the plants that I killed this year. Hey guys, it's Editing Jordan. I just wanted to hop on here and say that there is one more plant that I killed for sure, and that is the Calathea White Fusion. I'll put a picture here. Basically, this plant got spider mites. I treated it for spider mites. It looked great when I got it from Plant Haven, Toronto. After I treated it for spider mites, it was like shrivelly looking. I know that this plant is notorious for needing high humidity, so I put it in like a little plastic aquarium situation with like some cling wrap over top of it to hold the humidity in. And ultimately, it just still kept declining. It was slower. I think the humidity did help, but I just wasn't interested in continuing to have a plant that needed so much care to barely survive still. So the Calathea White Fusion is the 11th plant on the list that I killed. And I feel bad because that would be a beautiful plant if you could get it to live in your conditions. But I don't feel bad because I think she's pretty finicky, terrible plant. Okay guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope that you guys will appreciate my honesty and give me some props for putting all these plants that I killed this year. If you guys killed some plants this year, leave the names of the plants that you killed in the comments. I would love to not feel alone in this. I will also say that I'm going to do a giveaway of my Syngonium Aria. Once we get 400 subscribers, what I need you to do is subscribe to my channel here. Go follow me on Instagram and then go find this picture of my Syngonium Aria and leave a comment giveaway. And I'll add you to the list, and then once we hit 400 subscribers, I'll randomly draw and I will ship whoever the winner is some cuttings of my Syngonium Aria. I'll also say that the next video is going to be my 2024 wish list plants. These are going to be a few of the plants that I plan on scoping out and aggressively attempting to get in 2024. And then I think the only other video coming out for December will be a 2023 overall favorites plant video. I'm not going to do a December favorites. I'm going to just kind of recap what my favorite plants of 2023 were. And then hopefully we can look through 2024 and see how my opinion has changed, or if maybe some of my plants have stayed my favorites. But thank you guys for coming to Kentucky Plant Daddy. I really appreciate you guys coming here. I really like reading all your comments, so please leave them below. And you guys will see me in the next video. Bye.